You are listening to the Critical Mass Radio Show, Orange County's business talk show, focused on exploring topics of interest to CEOs who are leading middle market companies. With your host, Richard Franzi.
Hello and welcome to Orange County's longest running business talk show. You're seeing episode now 1501, and we're excited to have Carrion, who is the founder of myTOD. It's going to be a great show, ladies and gentlemen, so let's get right into it. JC, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Rick. It's truly a privilege to be with you, and thank you for hosting me. And gosh, just to hear that I'm the 1,501st guest is huge. So I'll try to do you justice. So thank you. It's an honor to be with you.
I'm excited to have you as the second chapter of the show's evolution. Let's talk about you and the origin story. I said at the top, you're the founder of your company. Inspiration, motivation. What did you see in the market? What did you want to build when you decided to launch myTOD?
Well, that's a great question. I think part of it, I have to share a little bit of my personal story. I am an immigrant. I was born and raised in Nicaragua, and due to political affiliations from my parents at that time, our life were in danger. So we were persecuted, and it came to a point where my parents had to make the biggest sacrifice any parent can do, and they had me leave the country, at the age of 14. And so I came to the United States. I was very fortunate I was able to get here. And soon after, my parents followed, but in order for them to follow, they had to leave everything behind. So we had to start from nothing. So as soon as I was able to get a job and, help support my family, that was the number one goal. My dad didn't speak English. So again, we went from a very nice lifestyle to leaving everything behind, and having anything. And so supporting them financially was a major priority for me. And at a very young age, my parents invested their time on our education. They gave me skills, like they put me in typing school. I don't know if many people have gone through that when they were young,
Right.
So I was a great typist, by the time I was 14. So I have some skills, and when I went to seek my first opportunity, I used an agency. Unfortunately, it was not a great experience. I will never forget, when I walked into that employment agency, they didn't even, test my skills or ask me what kind of skills I had. They simply sent me to my first job. And my first job was, at a yard area, for Altadena, the milk company, lifting pallets of wood. I mean, I hate to say it, but some of those food pallets were like almost as heavy as me. And, imagine doing that, for 8 hours a day. It was a horrific experience. And, I was grateful for the job and grateful to be able to make some money, but it just didn't feel right. It was really hurtful that this folks didn't take the time to know me or understand my skills or ask me. And therefore I was placed in a position that really wasn't a good match. It was not good. And it happened again, when I went for my second opportunity. So I never forgot that. I remember that. That's something I was going to remember for the rest of my life. Fast forward, I went to university. I was able to learn the language, make it to a great university. And now I'm on my own, my first job, and how do I progress? And I was very blessed that through my career, since I was a young individual, I had great mentors, people that dedicated that, I simply by asking, can you support me? Can you help me? I want to get into sales. I want to get into business. They dedicated their time, their wisdom, and they shared that with me freely. So again, when you couple that, I want to do something, I'd never want to experience this. I had great mentors. I got into the staffing industry, in the recruitment industry. Somehow when I graduated from college, I went to pre-med, and then I ended up in a physical therapy assistant job. And somehow I met my first mentor, introduced me to the business world, and ended up being in the staffing industry. So, my first experience was with the agency. Now I'm here in this industry, and I'm like, I remember, and I'm like, I got to do something different here. I have to make sure that whatever I do, I'm supporting young adults. I'll never let people feel the way I felt. I want to make sure that whatever company I'm with, that we are going to make an effort to know people, to support people. So that was part of that, why myTOD, it was built to see recruitment through the human lens and to really provide opportunities not only for our colleagues, but for the individuals that we were placing at companies, with that human touch, with taking the time to get to know them and really understanding what was best for them. The other part was I developed a passion for the human resource community. I became really close to, in Orange County, I have a beautiful community, a very powerful and strong community. And in fact, I'm actually in the board of the National Human Resource Association, the president-elect coming up in the next month. So when I was working in the agency world in most of my career before myTOD, the agency, the industry has some ways that there's known that sometimes not very positive. Typical agency might be known as an agency that's focusing on placements and fees versus really connecting the people with the right opportunities. Sometimes the recruiters in that industry might have a reputation for not getting back to the client. It's almost like there's times that the standard agency industry might have a reputation of being like a necessary evil. If we can't fill a position, let's call an agency. I didn't want that. I had a really strong connection with human resources, so the HR community. So for me was, how do we work in a model? How do we operate in a model where we really become an extension of the HR team, where we really are integrated with the company, with the HR team, where we really see a true partnership, where there's customer intimacy. So when we looked at building myTOD, it was coming from different things, right? It was like our passion to really provide an opportunity for our employees to grow, to develop. It was our passion to create a model, we didn't create the model, but to build and operate under a model that created customer intimacy, transparency, partnership, and to give back to the community. Part of our mission and as our company is to, by 2025, to help 1,000 underprivileged teenagers, and by 2032, 10,000. So, so again, when you think about what's the motivation behind, there were so many parts that really led me to say, oh gosh, I got to do something different. I've been fortunate to been with several great companies in my career, but it was my time to kind of step out and do something that was different, that brought the community together under the mission of giving back, impacting the world, but also operate under a model that was significant differently than what we're used to. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that was one observation is I really enjoy hearing from founders when they decide to start a company based on a personal experience or a personal need, and they realize that their experience is relatable and scalable, and create a business model that addresses that, whether it be a person in your situation, or I've had people who are chefs who've created menus and food products and etc., or introduce new products. So it's great when an entrepreneur has a deep personal connection to the mission of the business. I'm wondering, since you launched myTOD, any pivots to the business model, any ahas or changes that you can share with us?
Honestly, and now I'm going to say we, because currently, I operate with three business partners, two of them that were with us from the almost beginning. But my partners and I, we had a clear vision. When I started myTOD, and they came on board, we shared that vision of what we want our business model to be. We were pretty clear on it, right? So we really we haven't had to pivot, because what we had envisioned is working, and it's working really well. What we had to learn to do was how to evolve that vision, how to evolve the model, because of course we were one of those, when we started, when we were together at the beginning, it was, great economy, we're doing really well, then the economy goes down, and it's like, okay, well, how are we going to evolve here? We don't want to change the model. The model works, and it works for when there's great times in the economy. It works when the economy is tough too. But we had to evolve. We had to look at pricing. We had to create different ways to support our clients. We still bring in the value add, and add more to our toolbox, or add more to our offering. So it wasn't about pivoting. Thankfully, we haven't. It was more about evolving, and it was, and about learning lessons throughout, right? So it's like, we were good students of what was happening, and we can see, okay, where are we going to go with this, or what type of client are we going to support? We did a lot of research of like, what are the industries that are going to be okay in the next 2 years? What are the industries that are growing? And that align with our passions. So it was like evolving and maybe course, changing a little bit, going a little bit to the left and then maybe to the right, but not really pivoting from our idea, from our vision, from our mission. So thankfully, no, and I don't see us changing that. Or I see us growing, but not necessarily pivoting from the original.
So let's talk about the current value proposition for myTOD. What problems are you solving? How are you doing it differently than maybe others in your space? And then who are the type of clients that are your best clients, the kind of people that really realize the value of working with your firm?
Sure. At the beginning, when we looking at the model, our thoughts and where we felt we would be most successful were supporting those organizations that were scaling, especially those hyper growth, type of startup organizations. Now, we had a clear vision which verticals we wanted to play in. We had experience in life sciences. That was my background from the university. We knew we wanted to play in the technical spot, industry. We knew we wanted to play in consumer markets. So we knew the industries, right? But it was like, let's focus on those organizations that are growing, where perhaps, that human resources team is lean. Maybe there is a chief of human resources, but maybe not necessarily a talent acquisition team ready yet. So we become that SEAL team. We become that interim talent acquisition team for those organizations. What makes us different is our subscription model. We're not a placement for fee type organization, which is the standard in the industry. You have your contingency agencies, right? You place somebody, they pay you a fee. There's also the retained search side. But for us, we're a subscription-based model. And the idea was when clients had this need for support and they couldn't scale up in their internal TA team, that they will bring us on, and then when the need wasn't there, they could pause on the relationship. And because we already got to know with them and we had intimacy and relationship with them, when they bring us back, it's an easy turn on key. You come in, this team has already been here, they know us, we're ready to go. So it's different from your contingency agency, it's different from a retained search. So that was our original. How we evolved is that we were very successful with the startup organizations, but then more mature organizations started utilizing us. And it was when they had a need to outsource and bundle specific requisitions. Perhaps their teams were maxed out and the requisitions were coming in. However, those volume of requisitions wasn't going to be consistent. They were going to slow down in 3 months. So instead of them hire an internal talent acquisition team member and then having them to let go, why not bring myTOD for the next 3 months to support us? And then when they help us catch up, where it's manageable, we put a pause and then we bring them back. So now they're not really affecting someone's life where you bring them on board as a TA leader or TA professional, and then you let them go 3 months later. So, and then also they're not spending agency fees, which in our model, we can save up to 50% of what they're spending.
Wow.
Huge. I mean, this is proven. So many case studies where clients were like, I had spent $1 million in contingency searches. And when they use us, it's like after 5 months, we saved them $500,000. That's crazy. That's real money. In fact, we had clients that got promoted because they used our model and they went to their boss and said, look how much I saved you, and they're like, now I need to get a promotion. But yeah, so it started with the startup and now we came with more mature organizations. And now as we grow, we're learning, where do we fit in? Where can we bring the most value? What type of organizations do we serve?
Do you focus geographically in any certain area? I know you're headquartered here in Orange County in Southern California.
It's interesting. We're growing. We are national right now. So yes, a lot of our clients start in Orange County, but as we grew, we have clients that are across the United States. In fact, our team members have been so talented. now we have filled clients that were nationally also had needs like in India, Latin America, the UK. So by the way, two of my partners are in the UK, which made it a lot easier. So our team members are filling requisitions in those countries. So we are in the process of expanding outside the United States. So that's kind of our next journey.
So that's interesting that the SaaS model, if you will, the subscription model, isn't just successful here in, let's say, Southern California and then in the United States, but you're finding it's also appropriate in the UK and other markets.
I have to be honest, Europeans are a bit ahead of us.
Really?
The SaaS model actually is really strong in Europe. So I think in the US, it's more of a newer model. Now it is in the family of the RPO model, right? It's within the same family. So of course, in the United States, we all know about RPOs and people have done RPOs. Our model is similar to an RPO, but there's some differences, especially in the way we integrate with the company versus an outsourced model, especially in the flexibility that we offer. A lot of the RPOs could be, a 6-month contract, a year-long contract, where our model, the main, part of our model or a big part of the model could be is the flexibility that you get. It's a month-to-month subscription. So now a company doesn't have to be married to a contract for 6 months or a year. They could if they need us for that long, with some, KPIs and agreements in place. So we have clients that have been with us, I'll be transparent, almost 2 years, which is great because we're doing amazing for them. But should a client need us for 3 months or 6 months or 4 months or 5 months, we have that flexibility. We have a lot of clients that used us for 3 months. They paused, they came back, they come back 2-3 times in a year, so it's having that flexibility that's important. But to answer your question, the model in Europe was well known. We created a model because we didn't create this model. We're operating in this model. We're good students of what worked well and how do we do that and do it better. That's the key.
I would have to believe your pedigree, for the lack of a better word, in the professional HR community and associations has been a benefit for you as you've scaled myTOD as well. Is that true?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure anybody from the HR community is listening, but I'm telling you, I am super honored to be part of that community, and I'm super grateful. I've been involved in the National Human Resource Associations for Orange County. I want to say 10 years, different board member seats, and now I'm privileged to be the new president. But I receive so much from them, not only on the business side, because when you get to work with people and they get to know us or we get to know each other, it's like definitely there's a synergy. It's like I want to work with you. I want to work with you. They get to see, really the transparency of how passionate we are about what we do. And I tell you, there's times that we've done it incredibly well, and there's times that maybe it didn't go so well. But what they see is how we're going to fix that, how we're going to come back for that, how we're going to make it right. But to answer your question, they have given me so many opportunities. By being with them, they become, of course, our clients. A lot of them have become my close friends, my coaches, my counselors. I love the community. I'm a huge fan.
So let's turn our focus to maybe a piece of business advice that someone gave you along the way, something that you could pay it forward today and share with our audience, something that you have found valuable or helpful. That's always great advice, right? One that has impacted me actually came from my business partner. When we established our partnership, there's 3 of us, right? Really imagine 3 heads communicating as one. I mean, that almost sounds like that's really hard to do. We equal partners, but we have been doing this now for almost 3 years together, 2.5 years. It's been incredible. Our communication, our relationship, how we led when there was great times, how we led when there was tough times, has been something I never experienced in corporate America. And, to the point, we're business partners, but now they're my brothers, like they really are. So, what he said to me when we started our partnership, he said, trust the intent. And I was like, in a way,
kind of sounded similar to something that my wife has said to my whole life, because when she would say something and I assume something, she'd be like, why are you assuming the worst? And I'll be like, and she'll be like, why are you assuming the worst of what I said? I'm sorry if my wife is listening, you were right many years ago. But my partner should trust the intent. There might be times where I can't run something by you, but you need to trust that the intent behind it was to benefit the organization or to benefit us. And however it seems, trust, and that wasn't easy. Unfortunately, like many of us, sometimes, our back experiences and life and traumas, trust is not something that comes easy. And like I said, I have had a life that I don't regret. There was a lot of trauma. There was a lot of pain in my life. And because of that, I trusting wasn't something that I could easily do, even though I studied every leadership book that you can imagine, and trust is the number one thing. And, I preached that trust. Trusting, I was like, oh, hell no, there's
right.
So to go into a partnership with two other individuals that you've known for a short period of time and to trust, it was like, whoa. That's like, especially when maybe two of them are in the UK. Like I said, sometimes the time difference, sometimes the decisions were made and we weren't together at the same time. But what I learned is as they walk the talk, as they, as I start seeing the results or the actions, and I start seeing how everything was always to better whatever it was, those decisions were made, even though I might not have been part of that, or they might not have been part of that. That trust grew. And I'm like, wow, trust the intent. And to this point, we operate as one head. And we have different parts of the business. I focus on the business generation side. Our other partner focuses on the recruitment side, and the other one focuses on the back office, chairman, support. And so sometimes there's decisions made in the different areas, and we come together and we're like, hey, I trust you.
That's fantastic. And you're right. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, business or personal.
And until you experience that, right? It's like, oh my gosh, this is what the books mean. Like this is real. So that was, I think that's one of the biggest one closest to my heart. The other one, I learned a long time ago, but it's been making more sense now as I'm in my 50s, is being a good steward of what's been given to me. I said being a good steward of what God has given me, and that is my body, my mind, my spirit, my wife, my children. I have two beautiful daughters. They're adults now. My business, our business, I said, our employees, being a good steward of that every day. How am I taking care of my body? Really seeing exercising not as a must, but it's like I'm excited to do it because what it's doing for my brain. So my brain is not like 70 years old, so I'm excited to eat healthy, not because I want to lose weight, but how it makes me feel. I'm learning how to sleep better. That's always been a struggle for me. And now I'm understanding what it's doing to my body if I don't sleep. My spirit, my quiet time, my relationship with God, that's really important. My relationships, how am I honoring my wife? How am I honoring my daughters? Are they a priority? My friendship, my best friend, my partners, in our business. Am I honoring our colleagues, our employees? Am I doing the best for them? In fact, I think when I lose sleep at night, it's because I always want to make sure I'm protecting every single employee in our company. That's really important to me. So am I doing the right thing every day? So that's the other advice. It's like being a good steward of what has been given to me.
That's powerful. Thank you for both of those. I really appreciate it. You mentioned earlier your commitment to nurturing 1,000 disadvantaged teenagers by 2025. I'm wondering, how is your firm doing that? What's the vision and what's the implementation of that?
Oh, this is my favorite part. I think this is what I live for every day. And I know my partners feel the same way. So how do we do that, right? We knew, honestly, when we were drafting that, it's like, and how are we going to get to 10,000 by 2032? Right. So we can't do it alone. We're fortunate. We have every single one of our employees that's been hired is so committed to that. So we don't operate as, three of us. We operate as a team with the same mission, but still, how are we going to do that? We bring the HR community. So to give an idea, we support three main organizations in Orange County and San Diego. One is the Samueli Academy, which actually is part of Orangewood. The second one is Orangewood, that Workforce Alliance Academy. and then Just in Time in San Diego. Those organizations they're focused on supporting foster care youth. You know, the Samuel Academy are in a charter high school, so these are kids that are coming through the high school years. And then Just in Time and the Workforce Lion Academy are post foster care system, right? When they're 18 and they leave the system. What we do is we partner with them and bring the HR community to to support with their skill-based training, share their knowledge. So just to give you an idea, in Samuel Academy, we take on 120 junior high school. They're juniors in high school, so they're about to become senior. Part of the something beautiful the school does is by the time they're seniors, they have to have a first corporate internship, and it's paid. But in order for them to get there, they have to have their portfolios, they have to have their resume ready, they have to know how to do interviews with, real life interviews. So we partner, we bring twice a year, we bring 50 HR leaders to edit 120 resumes, portfolios. Can you imagine the impact that these kids feel when these HR leaders are donating their time, editing their resumes, giving them support, giving them like samples on how to fix this, how to do that. They feel that someone really cares about them. There's someone depositing on them. That's not the norm for them. Then later on that year, we do mock interviews. So we bring a different batch of HR leaders, and that's why I say I love the HR community, into the Samuel Academy, and they do 120 mock interviews. And they're interviewing these young kids so they can be prepared for their first interview. And then we connect the HR community with the Samuel Academy to offer those internships. So that's one way that how we start to support the youth. What we do the same with every one of our events is it's intentional. Why we do events? We just finished everybody loves pickleball, so I'm not going to be making fun of that. We just finished our Battle of the Paddle. It's the pickleball fundraiser, which we invite our HR friends. And the reason there is to raise money to support the Samuel Academy and Orange and Just in Time to help because we can't do so much more than that. We're still a young organization. Their first working interview outfit for some of the in this fun event, which we had a great time as a community, we raised $7,000. Well, that goes to the two organizations to help them purchase clothing for these young adults when they go into the interviews. Every event we do, almost every event, is intentional in supporting those organizations. What I'm more grateful about is we can't do it alone. That's when the HR team, HR community comes along, shares their knowledge, their wisdom, their funding. We introduce them to those companies. We create connections. We become that connector in the community. And that's huge. And this is just the beginning. We just started to partner with an amazing organization called Foster Greatness. They're creating an app where there's a community for the foster community, right? To be in that, to create a community where if someone wants to go into a first interview and they need support, they need a coach, they can connect to the community, to the app, and find an HR leader who's willing to coach them an hour before the interview. And our role is to fill the tank, or will be, or hope it is going to be, fill those spaces with great leaders that are willing to give their time and share their wisdom. So we're looking for opportunities that we can partner with others to change the world. These young adults are so special, and they've just been given, life has been tough, and they don't feel victims. They're not victims. This is their life. They dealt with it, but now it's our turn to come back and say, we also want to help you make it better. We want to support you.
I love the way the flywheel will start spinning faster and faster for you as you develop programs, deliver content, make an impact, and just keep reinforcing. What you said is the entire employee population of your company is connected to this mission as well, which I think is really important for employee engagement, to have something bigger than a job that their employer provides them. So
we have, I know everybody says, about their team members, how great they are, but we do have a bunch, I'll be honest with you. I mean,
I believe you.
One of our interview process is a value-based interview, and that's the last step in our company. And really, we have said no to so many great potential employees because they didn't really share those values. And for us, this was really serious. We just don't want to be, we're going to donate, we're going to impact the world by donating a check. We wanted to be active in that. We really want to impact the world.
That's fantastic. So let's wrap up the interview, JC, with a look to the future. Tell me, what's the vision for the firm?
Well, when we started, again, we always had the vision of creating those verticals. So the future right now is how do we become more specialized? We actually just hired our first president for our consumer brand. We made an offer, it's kind of quiet, to our second president for life sciences, our vertical, and then we're in communications for our third president, which is on the technical side. So really is to go into those verticals to become more specialized, develop, again, continue to evolve in our model. How do we support our current clients, but how do we evolve and add more to our range of products, that are within our model, not losing identity whatsoever, because this is what we believe in. How do we go international? That's a really big one for us, and create opportunities for our employees to grow with us. That's kind of in the near future. It's more in the specializations in the vertical.
That's exciting. Well, we'll plan to have you back on, JC, so you can tell us how all of this that we've talked about today is continuing to evolve within your firm. If someone would like to connect with you, maybe on LinkedIn, or learn more about your firm online, how do they do that?
Yeah, honestly, on LinkedIn, is you're going to see my first name, which is Jairo. It says Jairo and then JC Carrion. So please connect with me. I'd love to connect with you. Of course, myTOD, our website is myTOD.io. And, like I said, you can connect with anyone in our company. We'd love to help. But that's how you can get hold of me. And, I do have a blog called Leader Behind the Mask. So also, if you'd like to read a little bit about that, it's there. But yeah, that would be the easiest way.
Well, I want to thank you I told you at the top of the show, ladies and gentlemen, it was going to be a great show, and JC, you delivered. So thank you for giving us your time today.
Oh, thank you so much. It was so much fun. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thanks to the audience. As I said at the top of the show, you're part of Orange County's longest running talk show. And JC's interview joins our catalog of 1,501 episodes. And so if you're an Orange County entrepreneur and you have a story to tell, or you're a nonprofit leader and you'd like to share your mission and your vision for your organization, then please feel free to reach out to me or to Haley. I'm Rick Franzi, RICFRANZI on LinkedIn. Coincidentally, that's our company's website as well, rickfranzi.com. And I see amazing organization and leadership is someone is speaking about your company, and thank you for that. And another LinkedIn user said, "Great job, JC." So appreciate the live audience participating. And our website is rickfranzi.com. Reach out to us. We'll be happy to schedule you for a future appearance. We're all about helping Orange County organizations share their message with the community. And so until the next time we all have a chance to be together, I hope all of your business decisions move your companies in a positive direction.